I spent the first 25 years of my career feeding the top 2%. Now I'm focused on the bottom 10%. When I think about how I started as a chef, I think it's something I was just meant to do. I started cooking actually for a living when I was 12 years old in small town Kansas at a local restaurant, but I'd learned to cook as a kid at home. I just loved it. I grew up farm country and mom cooked, grandma cooked, and I just loved food. So it was kind of natural that I went into a restaurant. From there on, I just continued. After high school, I went to culinary school, local vocational college, won a scholarship to the Culinary Institute of America. I never would have dreamed I'd be working in some of the places I've worked, and my aspirations were very, very small, just based on this small world that I knew. But 2008, I was working for the Island Hotel, the Irvine Company, and our economy sunk. I watched a lot of really good people lose their jobs, and when there's just no jobs out there, and that's when I first felt I was being called or directed to something more meaningful with my talents and skill. And I am a man of faith, so I felt that God was in the mix. Like any brave, courageous man, I just ignored it and put my head down and kept working. Then 2011, I was thrust into the lines of the unemployed and lost my job. And unlike most people that lost their jobs over the last couple of years, I was in a much better spot. And I really knew that was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. I found myself looking out over this playground of kids after they'd had dinner. The parents were sitting over eating, kids were over here playing, and it just occurred to me, and I thought, oh my God, in 30 years, these kids are still going to be here. The difference is going to be that they're going to be adults, and their kids are going to be the ones here playing, and they'll be sitting over here. And that's when I finally understood this concept that I never really understood before, the cycle of poverty. And that's when it really became real to me, and the realization of how the low-income population is just trapped, in poverty. And I kept trying to figure it out, but all roads eventually led me back to Bracken's Kitchen. We were founded in 2013, and I didn't know anything about running a nonprofit, but I figured if I'm being called to feed people, the only way I know how to do that is by cooking. I didn't want my name even on it, but a dear friend of mine who's no longer with us insisted I put my name on it because of my recognition and success as a chef. And that's when our trio of services was truly born. The anchor, if you will, is our rescued food program. In this country, we waste up to 40% of our food supply. We rescue food, hundreds of thousands of pounds of food every day, perfectly good food that would otherwise go to waste. We take that food and not only use it to cook and feed people, but use it to train our students with our Culinary Training Program. We can use that to teach students everything from cooking meat, cooking vegetables, pastas, the whole 9 yards. And then all that food goes out to feed people. So that's that trio that just works so well together. So whether we're out in the community with the food truck, directly feeding people, or whether we're sharing our food with dozens of agency partners, whether we're sending hot meals to the local shelters, they all just work together very symbiotically, and that helps us to do what we do. So it keeps us connected to the community, and we know our people, our guests, as we call them, that we serve. Back in 2018, I realized I got to figure out ways to earn money and not just ask for money, and that's when Catering For A Cause was born. And we also do a lot of work with an organization called Voice of the Refugee that works with Middle Eastern refugees that have come to America and trying to get assimilated in. We've served over 4 million meals in the last 2 years and 3 months, so it's been tremendously busy for us. And by working with our agency partners, some of our vendors that will use our trucks, we can get food all the way to San Diego, up into LA. So we're all over Southern California right now. And that's the power of food, because we all share the two most basic human needs for survival, the need to breathe and the need to eat. The problem is air is free and food is not, and that simple fact gives food so much power over a person's life. There's no better way to intimately get to know a person than sitting down and breaking bread with them. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in our own lives and everything that's going on around us. And man, when you just orient your life outwardly and you take the focus off of yourself, it will come back to you. I truly believe that. And it truly, truly is the most rewarding thing I've ever experienced. And I highly recommend it. If you can just learn to just love and reach out and touch and take care of others, they're going to take care of you too. And you'll find your life a whole lot more richer and rewarding than it ever has been.